Okay, so as part of my Christmas present to everybody, I am giving anybody who wants one a free website. So if you have a business idea or if you want a personal website showcasing your talents, whatever the reason may be, you can get a website delivered by me or by my digital marketing company. All you have to do is create a account on Discord and then click on the invite link below. The reason why you need to do that is because in order for you to tell me what type of website you want, you need to be able to message me and communicate with me directly. And Discord is a social media platform that's neutral, and you can create a account under your name or under a pseudonym or whatever fake or true name you want to do. But click the invite link, you'll go to the Money Cinder server where you will be able to interact with me and many others. And there is a folder there called free gifts, and it tells you what the process is and the terms and everything. So yeah, the website is free. It's my Christmas present to you. That offer will be open until at least the end of January. I probably will get very busy by the end of January, so I'm just saying that's the situation. There's no ifs and no buts. I'll even pay for the hosting for you for the first year, which usually costs people about 200 quid. So nothing from me. All you need to do is buy your own URL. So www. whatever the website name is going to be, and I shall do everything else. And I'll even teach you how to manage it and promote it free of charge. So you'll get a running business, kind of, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's the free Christmas present. Now you know what to do. If you missed that, you can rewind and listen to that. But now I am going to share this very interesting video.
The Justice Department just discovered another 1 million hidden files that Comey and his daughter and others had hidden in the Southern District of New York. They didn't turn them all over earlier in the year. And now they are saying it is bombshell horrible for the Democrats. Now, it is true that the CIA came to Trump, and I first broke this when he was president-elect, and said, look, this is too damning. He ran major money laundering operations for us. Going back to 82, he was involved under Bill Barr's dad, who was high-level OSS. That's on record. And Mike Ben's going over the hundreds of thousands of new documents, which has just been doing like 4-hour broadcasts breaking it down. Now, when you watch the show, it's great. Ben's got the receipts, but you're like, wait, we all heard this from Alex Jones 18 years ago. Lex Wexner, all of them, CIA. Then you got MI6, Mossad involved. You have Epstein taking over the family business from Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine's dad that ran it for the Mossad and MI6. And so under national security, they come to Trump and they say, look, they've already gotten rid of all the real files and stuff. This isn't going anywhere. They've salted it with embarrassing stuff about your wife and you that aren't true, all the same recycled crap, which I told you was going to be in there. And Trump just said, well, then screw it. Then they turn around and stab him in the back and say he's covering up. So that's why you saw him the last few months finally get his head screwed on straight and say, fine, release everything. And he's pissed. And now they found out where the feds had more stuff hidden. And because of Comey sat on top of this, the blackmail files, just like J. Edgar Hoover, and they just grabbed them, and they're going to be releasing it. And Trump said, it's all Democrats. There's not one Republican on the list, and that this is enjoy what may be your last Merry Christmas. So there you go. And the left spun that with headlines, Trump threatens to kill him, your last Christmas. He said, your last Merry Christmas, meaning you're not going to be happy.
Do I think silver is going to go up or down? I can't give you financial advice, universal positive. first and foremost. I believe the fundamentals for silver is the same as it was last week. I've not come across much information stating that anything much has changed. So on a fundamental point of view, I would say it could go up. I'm not saying that it will. It could go up. I'm just looking at the charts for you now. Yeah, it's still looking very good, but again, it's hard to ascertain. Markets tend to behave very strange during the holiday period. I don't know why that is, but anyway, back to the video. But I'm sorry, I can't give you any financial advice. I can only share my opinion, and I do regularly do that on my Discord channel.
Happy, but they believe through the corporate media that they can manipulate and cherry pick all this. And Trump had terrible advisors and terrible people. And Ratcliffe, I know for people that are working with him, it says, bad news, giving him this advice and saying it's right for the country. It'll crash the economy if you burn all these people. Plus, it's all old news. Plus, the statute of limitations. Plus, you can't. He's like, okay, fine. And then as I advised the president at the time, I said, they're going to turn around and stab your ass in the back. So I said, come out and say it's the Democrats, which it is. Say they're the ones covering it up. The hoax is that you're involved. And he came out a bunch this weekend and it said exactly that. And I can tell you point blank, I'm talking to his advisors on a routine basis and saying this, this is common sense, right? Plus it's true. Why the hell would you buy into this disaster when you're not involved? Again, well, because it'll bring down the country. No, they're going to bring you down, burn them, blow them up politically, open the airlock, and fire them out into space. Flush them down the toilet, put them in the political wood chipper, destroy them. Good God, this is total war. You cannot believe any damn thing comes out of their mouth. All they know is being obliterated legally, lawfully, constitutionally. It's war. They're not giving us quarter. They're trying to destroy us. So either you should run up the white flag, Trump, and get on your knees, or go to total war. And I know you want to go to total war. Let's go. Let's go. Have my neck sticking out here forever. The Epstein situation has entered a phase that is the most spectacular, the most dangerous, the most incredible of the 18, 19-year history of this fiasco. Okay? And thank God the White House and Mike Pence and Trump's surrogates are just coming out with the truth and blasting the CIA and the deep state and the Democrats and Bill Barr and his dad and all of it, because that's the only thing you can do. You can't make a deal with them in the name of national security. They're going to turn around and stab you in the back. So now they've found the other million-plus files in the Southern District of New York that James Comey and his daughter literally sat on, like Smog the Dragon sitting on his gold, the blackmail files. Think J. Edgar Hoover 2.0. And Trump came out and said, all right, you dirty bastards. Every one of the people in here is a Democrat. Top bankers, heads of universities, hedge funds, top scientists, politicians. You want it, you got it. And as I predicted, all they got in the files is the 5 fake Jane Does that earlier came out in court weren't even real women on Trump. And Melania is a hooker, not true, and recycled horse manure. And so here we are. This is such a danger point for the Clintons, who are begging not to be made to testify before Congress. This has completely blown up in their face. They thought they could give him bad advice with their operatives in the DOJ, Todd Blanche. They thought they could sit there and make Trump look like he was involved and then have the media manage it. The corporate media is a shadow of its former self. And so now 1 million plus files, and Trump's been told what's in them, and I got a good idea. And he said, it's over for you. This is probably your last Merry Christmas. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this giant story right up front. This is fabulous news. Trump waking up that he's been set up, waking up that he's got operatives in the administration, and going whole hog that the Democrats are the pedophile party, the Democrats are the party of human trafficking, the Democrats are the party of Epstein, the Democrats are the party covering up 1 million plus files. It's all true. So stop listening to Ratcliffe and burn them. Don't let them sit there and cherry pick and insert garbage in there. Hit them with everything. And it's game over. Now, this Epstein thing is so huge that watching this unfold yesterday was quite a Christmas present, and then going over it for hours this morning, I have to say we called it again. It's not like I'm Karnak the Magnificent. I'm dating myself. People that are old enough to remember Johnny Carson, he would put on a red turban and hold letters up to his head and try to guess what they were and make jokes. I'm not predicting the future. I do sometimes with enough information. No. I'm going off the record that's actually there hiding in plain view. And so it was clear when Epstein first started getting in trouble that he worked for the CIA. And then very soon we learned he worked for Lex Wexner. And then it came out that he had been hired originally in 82 by Bill Barr's dad, who was like number 3 in the OSS in World War II that became the CIA, and that ran that girls' school, and that wrote a science fiction book about a planet where aliens kidnap little boys and girls from Earth to rape them, called Space Relations. I mean, it just goes on and on. And so we knew very early on that he was CIA, that he was also MI6 and Mossad. Again, Ghislaine Maxwell, his partner in crime's dad, was killed to cover up the billions that the government stole and that the MI6 stole, thrown off his boat, the Ghislaine, named after his daughter. And then he was handed the reins to that. So he was a super spy for the CIA, Mossad, and MI6. And I told you that thousands of times on record for decades. Told Joe Rogan that 10 years ago on his podcast. So it's all on record. And it was all there before. But then I could already figure this out, but I talked to Roger when Trump was president-elect, and I got Roger's permission to go ahead and say it. And talked about it on air with him. And he said, you can forget about him bringing all this out. The CIA came to him and said, it's going to bring down the royal family. It's going to bring down the CIA, Mossad, MI6. And plus, it's all old information. They destroyed most of the real files. And so don't expect it ever to come out. But Trump says, no, go ahead and still bring it out. But then the people under him, they come out and say, no, there's nothing there. Then whistleblowers blow the whistle, and we find out there's massive documents in Southern District of New York. So about 9 months ago, they raided it, where Comey and his daughter were sitting on it at the FBI headquarters there. The head of that operation wouldn't release it, so he had to resign. Remember that? And so now we learn over the weekend, felt like the weekend over the Christmas holiday, that there's 1 million plus files in those same offices that were hidden under the control of the Democrats. And Trump has already pointed out, everyone in the current files, and they've looked at the new ones, it's Democrats. And so Trump came out with his message that, hey, you guys are done. This is going to be your last Merry Christmas. It's all Democrats. You're screwed. So think about how they maneuvered him, told him the documents were out when they weren't to make him look bad, then said, oh, sir, and I predicted this before it came out, your wife's in there, the Jane Does are in there, all the recycled bull is in there. And Trump said, well, then, holy hell, then this is BS. It's a hoax. And he meant the new stuff trying to implicate him with no evidence is a hoax. And it's come out that it was all the same recycled crap. Roger goes up there and meets with him, 6 months ago, says, you got to stop saying it's a hoax. Go out and explain the Democrats. They're the pedophiles. They're the ones that are in it. That's the truth. He goes out, does that. Approval rating goes back up. Then he gets sick of hearing about it, goes back to saying it's a hoax. We've talked to his administration. We've said, you've got to go to war with them. They're going to keep cherry picking it. You got to make the FBI actually get all the files they've got. It's way more than you know. And bingo, you've heard me say this every day for months and months. And now it happens. And now Trump took the gloves off and said, all right, you're the ones. You tried to set me up. Screw you. Screw the CIA. Screw Mossad. Screw MI6. I'm not involved with you guys. and you're all the ones doing it. All these big bankers, all these hedge funds, all these university heads, all of these politicians. Okay, it's coming out. And they'll try to spin it and say, oh, this is redacted, that's redacted. And then half the time the document's already out. And you see it's redacting informants or the victims, stuff like that. And all they've got is, oh, in a document he flew on Alita Express. Yeah, from New Jersey to Palm Beach. That's been in the news forever with his wife and kids when his plane was broken. Or, oh, this Jane Doe out of Houston he raped. Turned out that was fake. So again, it's just recycled crap. But notice he's not in the photos. He's not in the hot tubs. He's not in the pools getting blowjobs. He's not, he's not there with Kevin Spacey. He's not there with Mick Jagger. He's not there with Woody Allen. He's not there. And so this is wonderful. So here's the bottom line. Trump knows they tried to set him up. They know that they double-crossed him when they said national security, sir. And so now he said, screw it, release it all. Now, you saw him have to do, in his last administration and this one, 4 different times he orders them to release all the JFK stuff, and they still hold stuff back. You're like, well, you should just go down there and do it. Do you have any idea how much stuff there is? It's so easy. It's like telling your kid, clean your room, and they just kind of throw everything under the bed. But now it's happening. So this is amazing. Just in, Trump posts ominous Christmas message sabotaging Democrats who visited Epstein Island. Enjoy what may be your last Merry Christmas. I saw liberal media, leftist media saying enjoy your last Christmas like it's a threat. No, it means your Merry Christmas. You're not going to be too happy. Over 1 million Epstein docs uncovered by FBI in the Southern District of New York, where the commies were sitting on them. Here's Trump's statement on Truth Social. Merry Christmas to all, including the many sleazebags who loved Jeffrey Epstein, gave him bundles of money, went to his island, attended his parties, and though he was the greatest guy on earth and thought he was the greatest guy on earth, only to drop him like a dog when things got too hot. Falsely claiming they had nothing to do with him, didn't know him, said he was a disgusting person, and then blame on others, President Donald J. Trump, who was actually the only one who did drop Epstein and call the police on him when he first got arrested. That's on record. And long before it became fashionable to do so, 18 years ago, when their names get brought out in the ongoing radical left witch hunt, plus one low-life Republican, Massey, and it is revealed that they are Democrats all, there will be a lot of explaining to do, much like there was when it was made public that the Russia hoax was a fictitious story, a total scam. See, he's explaining. Trump being involved is a scam. Yes, exactly, which is true. And had nothing to do with Trump. The failing New York Times, among many others, was forced to apologize for their bad and faulty election reporting, even to the point of losing many subscribers due to their highly inaccurate fake coverage. Now the same losers are at it again, only this time so many of their friends, mostly innocent, will be badly hurt and reputationally tarnished. But sadly, that's the way it is in the world of corrupt Democrat politics. Enjoy what may be your last Merry Christmas, President Trump. And that's true. 99% of this stuff, of all these giant investigations and Epstein's whole estate record and all of it, are innocent people. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Because this is what you want. This is what you get. Told you. Told you. The Epstein files just backfired on the Democrats. President Trump dropped the nuke last night. Trump says Democrats' names are about to come out from the Epstein files. Enjoy what may be your last Christmas. It's all Democrats. Yep. All Democrats. All. And as they begin to release more of the documents, he was running all sorts of fertility clinics and all sorts of stem cell stuff and all sorts of really macabre stuff like Peter Nygaard. And notice I've been the only one talking about Peter Nygaard on this. I go on other podcasts that think they know about this. Have you looked up Peter Nygaard? Another billionaire, same clients, globalist, former president, you name it. And he's there saying, yeah, we artificially inseminate, or I do it myself. Oh, the fun way. He's like 80-something years old at the time. Looks like he's 60 with like a football player's body at 20. And he's telling the black women, we need to You have a baby because you've got the dominant genes. It's mainly Central African, like super dominant, meaning that just the cells work better, not recessive. And then they have the baby early in abortion and they suck it dry. And then they put it in the old men. You have to understand, if it's your baby, it's like organ rejection. Your body totally takes it in if it's your daughter or son you just killed. And so, I mean, people think like they get a stem cell shot from a woman's placenta, and football players stuff taking it's like a miracle. That's some other woman, not even your genetics, and it's placenta. Imagine sucking the bone marrow out of a baby, and it's blood, and then they inject it all into themselves in 6, 7, 8, 9 sessions, and literally you see photos of Nygaard. He starts this. He's like an old man hunchback, and he looks like an NFL football player a year later. So it works, okay? I mean, this is real vampire stuff, okay? So again, I've been harping on it for over a decade. No one seems to care. Yeah, look at this. No one seems to care because it's not like a weird brain puzzle narrative, whodunit, clue game, Sherlock Holmes. Oh, you know, was this going on? Was that happening? No, it's just right there for you, the answer. Zorro Ranch, Caribbean Islands, just like Nygaard has Caribbean Island. They got these facilities all over. And there you have it. That's what we're dealing with here. So enjoy what may be your last Christmas, says Trump. Look at this. Breaking. The FBI in Southern District of New York have just discovered over 1 million more documents related to Jeffrey Epstein. They're now being handed over to the DOJ, who says their lawyers are reviewing them around the clock. And see, Congress is like, you didn't release everything. We're going to hold you in contempt. And they're like, oh, here's the files. We just got stuff from all over the country. It's not just New York. And don't worry, you're going to get what you want now. Meanwhile, cops probe claims Epstein victims were abused at UK pedo ring parties with Andrew Windsor. You know who he is? That's the former prince. The heir to the throne. You know, King Charles died, he'd be the king. Andrew Windsor with Ghislaine Maxwell. Reportedly, it's coming out in the files. These are grand jury files, you name it. That they would take young girls, their fathers would, train them into sex slavery, to these facilities and then hook them up and electroshock them. They just convicted a bunch of billionaires in New York and other places doing the exact same thing. That's what they do. And why do they like the shocking? Because they didn't put marks on them. Now that's the gold standard, torturing kids and raping them. The platinum is killing them. And that's what a lot of these women talk about when they were like 10 years old and stuff. The media just kept it like the 14-year-olds and stuff. That's like the bronze standard. That's like the entryway. But these world leaders will just tell them like, God, I want to kill you, really. Man, I wish I could kill you. And then they would come back and like beg, I'll give you $10 million. I want to kill her right now. And they're like, no, she's of service to us. So to these guys, it's like they want that power. That is really makes them feel good. And then if the girls ever speak up or start going sideways, they're like, okay. They're like, all right. They'll go kidnap them, grab them, take them to a dungeon. They're like, all right, enjoy your killing. And the psychopathic psychology of these criminals is pretty much all the same. Kind of like Ted Bundy, like to bite big chunks out of women. He'd manipulate 16-year-old girls. Oh, look, I have a non-threatening yellow Volkswagen. He'd be at the mall. Oh, sure, let me give you a ride. He'd pull a gun on them. He'd say, I'm going to kill you. If you don't, just let me put you in handcuffs. Let me put you in handcuffs, it'll be nice. Put him in handcuffs. He takes him to a shack, got a basement, gets him chained up, and he says, all right, I'm going to torture you for about a week, and then I'm going to murder you. I'm going to really enjoy this. And you just start biting chunks out of him. And so you want to know what these guys are? That's it, okay? And then imagine having your own baby. They kill it at 8 months, suck everything out of it, and just... So that's your friends. And that's who the Democrats are. And that's who the British Royals are. And it's all come out in the Netherlands and all over, like huge dungeons, crates full of dead kids, half of living kids in cages. This is Tony Podesta's art display that they put in the Washington Post, how great it was in 2007, tortured children in dungeons. I mean, that's who they are. So just remember that. Files offer details on Epstein's death in federal custody. Public release of Epstein records puts Maxwell under fresh scrutiny amid claims of innocence. But you ought to go read about what's in the files, reportedly, allegedly. But this fits with the MO I've got. Remember, you've heard me talk about this a lot on the electrocution stuff. Cops will ask the FBI for more information about the claims Epstein victims were abused in pedophile ring parties in Britain. A batch of files related to the U.S. this week included unproven claims Andrew and Ghislaine Maxwell attended events in which abuse took place. Alleged victims, but remember, I told you, the real mothership's the UK. That's where the real stuff goes on. Alleged victims said they were tied to a table and tortured with electrical shocks by Maxwell, and Andrew and other men watched on. Andrew Windsor, that's the former prince, has always strongly denied any allegations of misconduct made against him. The 35-year-old claimed that they were drugged and driven by their father to an abuse ring in Surrey in the mid-90s, when aged between 6 and 8. Surrey, and he goes on, a spokesman added, "We are therefore engaging with relevant agencies to obtain access to the redacted information." And now they got the million new files coming out. So we'll see who all's in there. Oh, so you guys wanted to hang around Trump's neck. Okay, well, you get what you want now. Just like Trump said, he said, hey, sad some of you are innocent, but you're the ones did this, so F you all. Me to read that to you again? How many times you heard me say this is what Trump needs to do? How many times? Probably about 2,000? How many times I say on air, they're going to set you up, Trump? Again, it's not like they came to him and said, cover it up, sir. It's like, it's a big mess, and, a lot of it's innuendo, and innocent people in there, and it's old, and we're not sure, and, well, what's in it? Well, just a lot of really horrible stuff, and all these leaders, all these people, and he's like, what? Thousands of Democrats? What? He goes, okay, well, just tell them, leave me alone, I'll leave them alone, since it's such a big mess, which was a mistake. Because the CIA is like, sir, it'll bring down the country. And then they turn right around and do this. And Trump's like, all right, that's it. Fine. He even said, like a couple weeks ago, he goes, fine, it may destroy the economy. Remember I told you that over a year ago. He said, fine, it may just destroy everything, but it may destroy the whole country. But okay, fine. Yes, I told you exactly how this would go. Well, this is very pleasing because it's not going to destroy the country. It's going to destroy them. God's watching. All we got to do is go at these people, and God will take care of everything else. God wants courage. He wants evil run over and destroyed. Okay? We'll get so much prosperity out of this, it'll make your head spin. Guaranteed. I mean, we start convicting these people and hanging them. Woo! God's going to rain gold from the sky. We'll be right back. I need you to support the broadcast financially, and I just need those.
Okay, so I've just had a quick review of the comments. Some of you seem to be in disbelief. Unfortunately, whether you want to admit it or not, what Alex is saying there about there being a very dark underworld, a existence so demonic that that is very difficult to believe, let alone understand, is actually true. And the currency of that existence, of that dark world, is children. You don't have to be a fan of Alex Jones. You can just do your own research. I mean, in fact, if you were switched on over the last few years, every time there was a news report in America or in Europe or whoever, of globalist elitists being caught with children or being accused of being part of a cult where children were stripped naked, and the globalists or members of certain European royal families would chase them on horseback. Or even more recently over in America, where the US government have found children in cages. So what he's saying is actually true. One of those incidents where children were found in cages, a lot of them was run by Islamic group, husband and wife, I think it was. So obviously Islam allows paedophilia. That's my understanding. That is the understanding of anybody that's looked into it and what we can see. The infamous marriage to Aisha has confirmed that. And that's going to be a sizzling fact for some of you, but facts don't care about your feelings. It is what it is. So that is what I wanted to share with you. Excellent news that finally, 2 points. Finally, Trump is now releasing, well, he said this before, but we'll see, but looks like he will be releasing the Epstein files. But we also need to remember he BS'd us, and there was a lot of other major leading individuals in his government BS'd us and saying what files, and started saying there's nothing to see. So God is in control, and as the Bible says, once you start doing wrong things with children, then God will expose you, and expose you in a way that you deserve to be exposed. All right, on that note, I shall leave it there. I'm now going to watch Sunderland versus Leeds, and I may do another live stream later, may do one tomorrow, I'm not sure, I may not. But if I don't do one before New Year, Happy New Year, God bless.